Good afternoon folks, and forgive the state of my t-shirt. Anyway, I've got a real treat for you record player lovers today. What we're going to do today, it needs a bit of a clean, I'm going to service the Garrard 0100S. This is my own personal unit which hasn't been serviced for a couple of years. I like to keep on top of it if I can, and there's no reason why I can't and no reason why you shouldn't. I'm just looking for various bits that I need, like oil. I won't be using any WD-40 in this. I won't be putting that crap anywhere near this unit. I'll be using oil. I have got some specific Garrard oil, but I can't find it. Don't know where that is. It's here somewhere, but it seems to be eluding me at the moment. So we'll just use ordinary light machine oil, which is probably all that was in that Garrard container anyway. So we'll use ordinary light machine oil to do the service. Now, when I say this is the most complete Garrard 0100, I believe it to be. And the reason will become clear. Just clean my glasses. Reason for this will be, I'll tell you, just put my other glasses on. I prefer these ones. Not because I'm too lazy to clean my glasses, these are just as mucky, but I prefer them. Right, what we have here is what you would have got in the box when you bought the Zero. Is the template. This one actually is for the AP76, but it's the same cutout. It's exactly the same template, except it's got AP76 stamps on it, but it's exactly the same one. And I've also got this, which is the 0100 auto single play transcription turntables. This is actually the brochure. New decks are continue. I'm not going to read all that. 0100, a major breakthrough in record playing. Yes, and it's true, it actually is. It does work. There we go. There's a picture of it. And this is actually, this brochure is not only a brochure because it tells you, are these pages numbered? Because I'm not sure if two are stuck together. No, we're alright. It tells you about, just fold that in a leaf back in there. It just shows you how the tone arm works, because it's got a special tone arm on this. It explains how it all works. And it tells you all about, I mean, the only difference between a Zero and something like an AP76 is basically that tone arm. Because the mechanism, in all honesty, the mechanism, I'm not going to make this out something it's not. I'm just going to tell you about what it is. Explain about what it is. The tone arm that was fitted to this was able to pivot at the front, and therefore, if I'm correct, work like a linear. Because record grooves are cut in a linear action. They're not cut in an arc, if you see my point. And it also has multi-speed control on this, so you can actually, you know, with a stroboscope, so you can actually get the speed bang on, pretty much. And it explains there about the turntable platter, the switches, the brass switches, the speed control, the stroboscope. It explains about all that out. It gives you a little diagram in there how it works, and basically all that sort of stuff, and then just shows you the at the end. And that's the, what do you call it? These are all the write-ups, what the press had to say about the Garrard 0100. The 11.5-inch cast aluminium, or for you Americans, aluminium platter is driven by a synchro lab constant speed motor at 33 1/3 and 45 RPM, as on the Garrard SL 95B. The plane control of the 0100 also sets the arm indexing point for 7, 10 and 12-inch records. Yeah, that deals with it all itself. And you've got all this in here, which is this is everything equipment test reports, reprinted from Stereo Review 1971. I'll go through these. Reprinted, there's another one, manufacturer specification. I'm not going to read all that. What I will do though, I will scan these in and make them available if anybody wants to read them. They're probably available online anyway. Reprinted from Audio, July 1971. Is what the, you know, basically it's just what the, you know, the press said. Reprinted, this article, I'm not going to read the reprinted bit over every time. We know they're copies, because they're on cardboard for a start. Well, thick paper. From Records and Recording September, they all had good things to say. Now, what's this? Now and again, in the world of audio, there comes a piece of equipment that is not only different enough to catch the public imagination, but is also technically sound enough to allay the suspicions of the ultra-conservative. Such a device is the Garrard 0100. Yeah. Just proves, doesn't it, the British made the best stuff. Of course we did. Keep all your fucking Japanese and fucking Chinese and American decks, they were crap. Anyway, and this one is from Rolling Stone. Fella here's got a turntable, turntable that does just about everything but the dishes. Yeah. Popular Hi-Fi, June 1971. The bench test at home. For about £55 you can buy a new Garrard automatic turntable with Tantagnal, I think that's what they call it, pickup arm. David Line reports. And they had quite a bit to say, because it goes over another page. Look, either that or there's something out there, and they show there with they show it there fitted with a Bang & Olufsen SP12 cartridge. I don't know what was so special about Bang & Olufsen, and I still don't. I've had some of their stuff, and trust me, I wasn't impressed. Largely because a lot of it isn't made by them. And this one, anyway, I won't get into that. This is the focus. Anyway, this is what, and this is an article from Gramophone magazine, 1971, August 1971. This brand new turntable from Garrard, who introduced the auto changing, who introduced auto changing back in 1930, aroused a great deal of interest at the Sonic 71 on a display shelf occupying a whole wall of the room. The Garrard engineers were demonstrating, by means of oscilloscope traces, graphs and a working model carrying a special pointer that articulated the arm of the 0100, virtually eliminates pickup tracking error. Of course, a high proportion of the visitors to audio exhibitions are hi-fi hobbyists. Yeah, I'm not going to read all that, be here all bloody day. But that is basically what came with this unit, believe it or not. This came as a relatively complete unit. And you know, getting to the last bit of the literature we have on this. Let's move that. Have a sip of me tea. Anyway, getting back to, pardon me, the last bit of the literature is that the 0100S operating manual, and it's still got somewhere within, it's still got, where is it? There's a supplement inside here somewhere. There it is. And look at that. It's still got the supplementary instructions in there. I bet no one's ever read this. I certainly haven't. I haven't needed to. But it tells you what you should get in the packing list. So let's go there. Right, what have we got? In the packing list, we've got a short record spindle for single records. You never got the long one with this. The long one came with the international version, which was the automatic version. This is not which was the auto change version. Sorry, this is not the auto change version. Anyway, a short spindle for playing single records. This is fitted by, yeah, we know where it goes, in the middle. A large centre hole record adapter. Let's just lift the lid up. Which we have, believe it or not, and that's the original one. There's a few dog hairs and stuff. It needs a good clean, this. Shut up. 2 spring clips and wood screws. They're probably fitted in there somewhere. To affix spring clips in a convenient place for storing. Oh, that's for the large centre hole. That's for the large centre hole adapter, which didn't come with this. The a kit of cartridge fixing parts, which, yeah, they're in the arm. A pick-up arm counterbalance weight, which is on the back of the arm. The pick-up arm counterbalance weight, screw this onto the rear, yeah, we know. And basically, crap like that, that's what you get. And you also got, I think I forgot to mention it, unless it's on the next page, or is it on that page? That tells you how to cut out the motor board. It hasn't mentioned this little gizmo here that you should get in the packaging, which is the cartridge setup gauge. Why hasn't it mentioned that? Because it comes with it. Unless, of course, it's meant. Ah, there we are. Yeah, a kit of cartridge fixing parts. This comprises of a range of screws for different lengths, and a clear plastic setting gauge for checking the alignment of the cartridge in the pickup arm. And I'll show you how that works, because we're going to remove the cartridge anyway, and we're going to remove the cartridge anyway. And this is the most complete one I've ever seen. It's got a big lump of shit on the stylus. The only downside to this one is I cleaned the record once, and some of the isopropyl alcohol got onto the plate here, onto the plastic plate here, onto the trim plate, and it actually removed the word 0100S, which was a bit of a bastard, because apart from that, this machine was mint, which was a bit that's open. It does need a good clean. It's not been cleaned for a bit. Pull the cartridge carrier out. Right. Pull that bit of fluff off. Right, and what the cartridge carrier does, we'll show you what that does. You slide. It's one way or the other. It's been that long I can't remember. No, the other way. It's the other way. It's the other way. There we go. What you do, you basically, whoops, you slide. Let's zoom in. I run an Autophon. It looks like a CMB. That's what it seems to say on it. Cartridge in this, which does the job. It sounds nice, and I'm happy with it. So now, if I zoom in, right. Now this is the cartridge carrier, and that's the cartridge setting gauge. And what you do, you put that up against there, and you actually check the stylus. Is the tip of the stylus is in the crosshairs, which it is, so we don't need to do anything with that. But what I'll do, I'll leave the gauge on there because it'll protect the stylus. So I'll leave the gauge on there for now, and we'll put that out of the way, because we don't want to mess about having to order a new stylus. I mean, I can get them cheap. I get them from my friend Leon in London. It does me a good deal when I need a new stylus. Speaking of which, I owe him for a cartridge. Anyway, now what we do to service this is we pull out the centre spindle, and I'm going to try and do it without removing the dust cover, because I don't have to service underneath this. I'm just trying to see. Right. And this little plug pulls out here. There we go. Because you don't pull the whole turntable mat off. There you go. Little plug pulls out there, little trim piece. And basically there's the clip. You have to turn the turntable to the correct position in order to get the clip out. Now that is a real, I mean that is really one of the pains in the arse about this turntable, and you know, one of the things that really put us to lock the arm down. Right, it's a bit grubby this, it does need cleaning, and it does need a service. And the turntable platter on this is not stiff, it's It's not stiff, it spins very freely. It's heavy. There we go. That is a heavy turn set there. See, if you look under there, there's your stroboscope disc under the bottom. And you can get two types. You can get the 60Hz one or the 50Hz one. This is obviously fitted with the 50Hz one because we're in the UK. Now I'll put the turntable there out of the way. And what I want to do is check the condition of the idler. It is starting to, what do you call it, that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have another sip of my brew. I'm going to get my rubber renew and I'm going to clean it with rubber renew. Now be careful with this stuff. If you use it, it's got a skull and crossbones on it, which means it's poisonous. And always make sure that you don't get it anywhere near your trap. Oh, look at the crap that's come off that ring. Let me plug this unit in a minute. I might be better plugging it in. Oh, that stinks. Right. Just find the plug. And plug it in and turn it on and make it easier. Clean. You see? Could use that. There we go. Let's try 45, it might be easier. It will rotate faster. I'll tell you what we'll do. Oh, basically, I know what we'll do, because we're going to take the idler off anyway to lubricate it, so along with its clip, its fibre washer, now the idler itself, and there's a fibre washer down there, and I've just dropped my tool, I'll pick that up in a minute. There we go, you see that will take see what that'll do, I'll leave that for a minute and I can now clean the turntable drive drum, and this stuff does there we go. Let's put the top back on that fucking stuff because it absolutely fucking stinks. Jesus. There we go. I'll go and wash my hands in a few minutes. Now what we need to do now while we're now we'll use the cloth, and what we'll do, we'll move these components so we can put them in the middle of the turntable because they're clean. So we know that. Give the motor a bit of a wipe, which I've just done, but so give it all under here a bit of a wipe. It only needs a wipe. You don't have to go too heavy on this. It's only dust. I mean, it's not like, it doesn't matter if its settings get knocked out of whack. It's going to be reset up, and I'm going to show you how to do that on the bench when I've cleaned everything. I don't have to worry about the stylus because I've put that away. And you know something, I just love the way this thing looks. And this originally came, when I bought this originally came to me in a wooden plinth. Well, I also had this aluminium plinth, which was knocking around, which I'd purchased, and it was knocking about, doing nothing really. And I decided to just upgrade the spec of the turntable by pouring it in to clean all that crap from there, because I will oil the arm bearings as well. If I can get to them, that is. Try to anyway. There we go. But get that there. You see, I've actually had this. I bought this off eBay, and I've had it since, I've had this since about 2004, 2005. And I won't sell it. Right, so we're all cleaned there. Yeah, we're cleaned there. Right, I thought that was... Oh, is that dirt there? No. Thought it was dirt, it's just where the manufacturer's been a bit ungenerous with the paint. Now, what we need to do here is, what I like to do, so don't end up with oil everywhere, because we only want it where we need it. There we go. And I'll run a bit down the centre shaft, down the spigot, and that'll, whoops, there we go. And that'll lubricate all down there. Now let's just find my tool that I dropped, because I'm going to need that to just check. The little pawl on the gear wheel is free. Perfect, that doesn't need doing. Right, so we'll drop a little bit. Oh. There we go, just on the top of that. Right, I'm going to show you, this could go disastrously wrong. I'm going to show you a quick way of lubricating a motor, the top bearing of a motor. This could go horribly wrong. What I want to do is let that run down, let the oil just run down There we go, it's running. Just let it run down, we'll need a little bit. Let it run down. And it'll drip off the tool at the bottom. I'll just turn the motor. Oh, hang on, make sure there's nothing on my fingers because I've cleaned all that. Yeah, we're okay. I'll turn the motor. There we go. Let that run for a minute. Yeah, needs a bit of a polish, but that's great. That now clip this back down again. Now we can put the just give this a wipe now to get the residue off. Ooh, that is really now wow. Now the plastic. Where's the circlip? I know I've not lost it. I put it in the inside rim of the turntable. I just can't see it. There it is. Just couldn't see it from the position I was looking down on it. That turntable weighs a frigging ton. I can usually do these with one hand, with a finger pushing it on. Well, this one's proven difficult. Get in. Oh, let's try the flat end. I can usually get the fuckers on with my hand. Fuck me, that's a tight one. Let's just pull that back off. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. It's the one for it, obviously. It's fucking, it felt a bit tight, that going on. Right, well, we're in the groove. Right, let's get my pliers. Me going in the drawer, and actually not in the drawer, they're here. And what we'll do, we're in the groove, so there we go. Yeah, we're in. Now, that actually turns on 33 now, it didn't before. Because I can put my finger on that now and it still runs. Anyway, so what we'll do now, because we're finished on the top of it, just give this a bit of a waggle here. Right, now put the turntable. It's a heavy turntable, this one, and it's already been lubricated. It's just look how well that spins, how free that spins. Wow. I'll tell you what, you know, folks, for a 70-odd year old turntable, that ain't bad. 70, sorry, 40. Almost 50-year-old turntable, that ain't bad, you know. I mean, it's not bad for its age. Getting his clips back in is always a problem. I think the way to do it is to just lift the turntable slightly, because it does give you a bit of room. There we go, we're in. So now, try and push that. Hang on, let's just have a look at something. Might be keyed. Some of them are. Oops. No. Some of them have a little groove. This one hasn't. But putting the clip back in. There we go. Fucking hell, that took some doing, didn't it? But, you know, we're in. Make sure that we're not going to pop off anywhere. Make sure it's not raised anywhere. It's got to be all the way on. There. Make sure the turntable doesn't lift off. It doesn't. Right. Now, and there's even a rubber O-ring on this as well, to ensure it's nice snug fit. But before that goes on, if I remember rightly, you know, putting this fucking bit back in the middle was a challenge and all. I think that's right. If I remember rightly, putting this fucking centre fucking thing back in was a fucking mission. Now, where's me little tool? That's why we have these tools. Oh, that went in a bit easier than that was too easy. There we go. That went in a lot easier than it did last time. I don't think I used that. Now, what we will try and do is see if we can have a look underneath. Well, that hasn't even been... Oh, I didn't put these down when I fitted this. Oh, well, that's easy enough then, isn't it? It'll just lift straight out for me to just have a quick look on the bottom. And I will remove the lid for this. I'll just put the lid safely there, and I will lift the mechanism out. Oh God, man. This time I will actually lock it down. And I'll just lift it up there. Whoops. There we go. Right. Just really having a look under there, because right under there, no grease needed, a fuck all, it's lovely, because it was, when I got this it was stripped and cleaned, so we're alright, we're okay. Oh, hang on. Right. So what we'll do now, we shall that's that one. Now just lift that one on its edge. There we go, lock that down. There we go. Make sure that all the springs are where they need to be. Yep. Yeah, because what they've done here, they've actually put springs in. There's more springs, there's 2 springs at the front. Yeah. Just making sure that everything's right. Yeah. Yeah, we make sure it floats correctly, which it does. Now, let's turn it round. Yeah, make sure it's still, I'm not pulling the main lead out, I want to pull the... Right, what we do here now, let's turn the plug off because we don't need it down. Right, what we're going to do now, we're going to... Oh, I was going to look at oiling the bearings in the arm, wasn't I? Right, well, to oil the bearings in the arm, it's very simple. You take the cap off, if you can get the cap off, now I have had this off before because I have oiled these. These have been oiled, they were old when I first got it. There we are, look, you lift that up there. Well, you lift, let's see if we can zoom in so I can show you a bit better. Because right. That's about as best as I can get. There we are. See, we're going a bit further. Right. In there, folks, there's a bearing race. Very small one. So what we do, we just there you go. One drop of oil, that's all that's needed. And I'm not sure it's actually gone into the race actually. Because it doesn't look like, oh yes it has. We're okay, it has. Then you get the top. Making sure you clean the oil from the top of it there. And then you put the top trim back on. I'll give you your lunch in a minute, son. Let me just do this. I'll sort it out in a second. Then what you do, you have another bearing. Oh shit. That's still got the original plastic on it, look. Look at that. In a minute. Look at that, still the original plastic on the top from when it was made. But I've had this off before, so I know it can be, I know I can get in. There we are. Oops. Come out. There we go. Let's get this crap off the top. I'll do you in a second, son. Oh, that looks better. Nice and shiny, that now. There you go. You just lift that out of there. And lift that there, because that'll go back in as well. I'll keep that on my finger and know where it is. And you just basically, all you do it, oh, move the fucking thing out of the way. All you're doing is you're just dropping a little drop of oil. There we go. And that's a bit too much, so I have to get some of that back out. It's all gone all top of the arm and everywhere. Bit of an accident with the oil there, folks, but need to get some of that back out because that's too much. There we go. Now what I want to do is, in a minute, Scraps, I've gone and lost the trim off the top now. Out! I told you I'll sort it out in a second. I'm just putting this back on. Stuck to my finger. Get in there, yeah. Get in there. There we go. And then just stick that back on. There we go. You can pull the dog hairs and bits of fluff off that's all stuck on it. Right, bear with me, folks, while I just go and give him his lunch. I've not fed him yet. I'll zoom back out a bit. There we go. Right, so we've basically we've lubricated that. The bottom bearing's okay in the arm, that's okay. Now what we'll do, we'll slide the counterbalance weight all the way to 0, which is as far back as it goes, and the anti-skate I'll use as a magnetic. We'll put that to 0 because look at that. Still comes back a little bit, but not as much. There we go. Right, let's put the cartridge back in and set up and set up the weight. Now we've established that the cartridge is aligned and the stylus is okay. Right, so what we'll do now, what we need to do now is we need to bring the arm out and we need to check the height because the arm has to be parallel. I mean, it goes parallel with the rest when it's on its rest, so it has to be off. So what we need to do is bring the weight just in a little bit. Whoops. Slightly back. Slightly forward. I want it so it just lifts. And just lifting. Yeah, that's just floating that. If I move it off the turntable, yeah, that's just floating that, that's what we want. Now if I get my scales, wherever I put those, where the fuck did I put them? I think they're over here somewhere. Let me have a look. Now we'll get the scales and out, you've been fed, out. Right. Batteries look as though they're fading in this. Anyway, it would have, we'll put them on a fucking flat surface, won't it? There we go. Now what we'll do now, we'll bring that to the middle there and 0.34 grams. Fucking out weighs fuck all. So what we'll do, we'll bring the weight, fucking hell. There we go. Let's put my glasses on. Right, we're at 1.8 grams. I normally set this at 2 grams. The only problem with it is I should have left the turntable off, then I could have weighed it more accurately. Because I think it's I'm not happy with that because can I get this under here somewhere? No. See, and that's exactly the height of the turntable. So bear with me, folks. Right, let's have a look at the weight this time, because just bring them scales so the black bit, so the stylus is on the black bit. 1.5, which is exactly what I've got it set on. So if I now move that to 2, that's 1.85. Yeah. Well, we've got plenty of room there, so it's not like. Let's make sure we're I want this dead on as I can get it. .83 at the 2 gram setting. So as far as I'm concerned, that, well, taking into the discrepancy, taking into any discrepancies between the counterbalance, this, and the scales, I'm actually going to say that I'm very happy. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use the old. I'm going to use the old school, just for the laugh. Pop that into there. Whoa. But yeah, I'd say it's about 2 grams. So there we go. You see. Now I've got to hassle putting that fucking clip back on. Now that's how the turntable is set up. We're on 2 grams. I usually like it set at 2 grams. I've yet to set the tracking date, but I can't remember. The problem I've got with that, not the tracking weight, sorry, the anti-skate. The problem I have with that, I'm not sure if it's a conical or a spherical stylus I actually fitted. I can't remember, so are we in there properly? Where the fuck's that? Well, that's my ex-wife. Yeah, that was my lunch. Anyway, I've not had it yet. I'm going to go and get it in a minute. I'm just making sure that we're making sure the turntable doesn't lift off. No, we clipped on. Right, put the trim piece back in. I love how long it takes these Garrards to spin down, you know, they're beautifully balanced units. Anyway, right, well, that's gone in with no problem. I usually struggle, but it's gone in with no problem. Right. Just grab a 45 RPM, give it a white. Now, I'll put the centre spindle back in, that would help, wouldn't it? Just check that the stylus drops where it should. I'm not expecting any adverse effects here. Let's zoom out slightly. No, we'll leave it zoomed in. So I want to go for automatic, and we want to be on. I've done it wrong here. We're gonna have to. Whoops. Oh, no. There we go. So what we'll do, we'll set the stroboscope. There we go. Set that so it's in the middle, more or less. Well, that's let's see what that starts like now. It's a lot better than what it was. So what we'll do, Make sure that drops. Yeah. That's it, streams is the speed. That's the fastest. There we go. Spot on. There we go. Get it to the end. There we go. And that, my friends, is how you service the Garrard 0100 S from 1971. And just put the dust cover back on, because this can go back through to the front room in a bit. My door again, I don't believe it. Hang on. Bye for now, folks. Catch you in a bit.